the first thing, and for those watching tonight, and I know we have a television audience out there that's also wanting to hear answers to some of these questions. So in deference to them, please let me tell you why I voted the way I voted, and then we will take your questions, and you will have an opportunity to get answers. The next slide talks about the two big changes. The next slide talks about two big changes to the Medicaid program. One of those changes is that if you are able to work and you are able-bodied, you have to work. If you choose not to work, you do not get free health care. You do not get free health care. Okay. So here's a question. Do you think that people who are 28 years old that can work and refuse to work should get free health care? I don't think that a majority of Nebraskans agree with you. Those are the things that I wanted to share with you as to why I voted for the One Big Beautiful Bill. I truly believe that this bill will allow America to experience growth, that it will allow our communities to thrive, that it will spark our economy, that it will help farmers and ranchers, that it will take care of the vulnerable, and more than anything, I truly believe this bill protects Medicaid for the future. I believe it. We protected Medicaid.
Why are you covering up the Epstein files?
Let's be very clear. At the next pro forma session of the Congress, you'll find my name as a sponsor on a resolution from the House Rules Committee to release the Epstein files to protect the victims and not re-victimize them again. I support Jamie Comer, who is the House's Oversight Committee Chairman, subpoenaing Ms. Maxwell later this month to come testify in Washington. I am for the release of those records. So let's go back to President Obama in 2012. You're going to agree with me when I'm done. So back in 2012, President Obama extended the Bush tax cuts, and the CBO baseline score was calculating the tax cuts going away, and the Obama White House said, no, we disagree with that. So many of you that are in the Democratic Party have to look at how consistent we are and where we're at with the CBO. And the reality is, when President Trump passed the 2017 tax cuts, we saw explosive growth in this country. We saw explosive growth. COVID slowed our progress for obvious reasons.
Why did you cut SNAP and healthcare research?
We do not have unlimited money in the United States. In 2019, our country spent $60 billion on SNAP. During COVID, that number went to $100 billion. And for good reason. I mean, during COVID, we had a situation where we had a worldwide pandemic. We had people that couldn't work. There was a need for extra food, supplemental nutrition programs. What we did, this Congress, two things. We returned our spending on SNAP to our pre-pandemic level of 2019 at $60 billion. And we also said to states that have low error rates, and Nebraska has low error rates, that there's going to be incentive for states that do it right, and there's going to be a disincentive for states that have a high error rate. Now, you may disagree with the actual number we arrived at, but going from 60 billion one year to 100 billion the next year, that was the COVID pandemic. The pandemic is gone. People have gone back to work. We are now at the 2019 levels, which I think are acceptable.
My question is fiscal. With 450 million FEMA dollars being reallocated to open Alligator Alcatraz and 600 million taxpayer FEMA dollars being used to now open more concentration camps and ICE burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people, how much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?
Americans went to the polls in November, and they had a choice between a Democratic candidate that had an open border, no enforcement, fentanyl, drugs, human trafficking. And they had a choice between that and a candidate that said, close the border, get illegal immigrants out of our country, stop the fentanyl, stop the human trafficking, stop the drugs, stop the crime, stop the violence. That's what Americans voted for. Americans voted for a border that is secure. And I support the president enforcing our immigration laws, which, by the way, were written by Congress.
Howdy. Thank you for being here, Congressman Flood, but I do have a question. Outside, roughly 10 minutes before we were let in, you went up to me, I shook your hand, I looked you in the eyes, and you immediately pivoted to somebody else to talk to. Why are you unwilling to talk to someone in my age?
I'm not. I didn't mean to do that.
You immediately pivot. Then your gentleman
I shook your
over there
hand, for God's
walked
sakes.
the
You were
photo
standing there with some
shoot
other
that
people.
saw me
Now you're
discuss
here. What do you want to talk about?
I want to ask, why does it seem like when you make your voting decisions, they're based on capital rather than the working class? Billionaires and corporations got their tax issues enshrined into law forever, but the working class gets a no tax on tips or overtime that only applies to some of us, and now we wind up in a situation where we are.
Funded by wicked. Funded by wicked billionaires.
With all due respect, sir, the Republican Party, now more than ever, represents the heart and soul of the working class. So you go out to dinner after this, and your hard-working server gets a tip. Thanks to the one big beautiful bill, she doesn't have to pay taxes on it. 88% of Americans are going to get relief on paying taxes on their Social Security. They've earned it. We did the same thing at the Nebraska legislature. We've increased the standard deduction. And here's the one I think is the most important for the working class. We increased the child tax credit to $2,200 a year. That, my friends, is going to work for the working class of America.
I brought with me tonight the Lincoln Journal-Star from July 16th, 2012. The headline is "Flood Considers Run for Governor." The story here was that you were challenging your party because you voted to override Heineman's veto of legislation that would provide prenatal medical care for, it says, babies of mothers who may be in the country illegally. He viewed that as an illegal immigration issue. You called it pro-life. Now you are saying that you don't want.
I will always support
prenatal
prenatal care for
Nebraska
any woman in this state on our Medicaid program.
We are
I am
17th
pro-life,
in
and I
maternal
chose.
mortality.
You know, when you're in my spot, you've got to pick between two sides. I pick the side of that pregnant mother.
Campaign flyer, and this says you paid $50 billion for rural hospitals. when they need $137 billion. This is just a Band-Aid till the next election.
But in Nebraska, they're getting $700 million in a state of 2 million people. A state of 2 million people, they're getting $700 million. Where are we at on time?
We have about 3 minutes left.
I didn't rehearse this question, but when I saw those, I was surprised. H.R. 1 does, in fact, address Medicare. So my question is, did you read the bill?
I read the bill. I read the bills. Is every bill perfect? No, but I supported this bill. By the way, I think this is important. I cannot stress it enough because I think there's a lot of information out there that's wrong. We protected Medicaid. We cut $2 trillion out of the future debt. We worked to get results, and this bill builds for growth. Here's the deal. I want to say a couple things. Thank you to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Thank you to the UNL Police. Thank you to my staff. Thank you to Nebraska Public Media for doing a great job tonight. Thank you to all the members of the working media that are here. And most importantly, thank you to all of you. If you need assistance from my office, call my office, come see me. I will be visible, I will be accessible. And for those of you watching from home, please know I am on your side. I never forget who I'm working for. And it is an honor to serve you and a privilege to serve you and the United States Congress. Thank you very much, and have a safe drive home.